Hey everyone, we're going to get into the show. I got a little bit of music I'm going to be playing. Let me know if there's a song in particular that you think I should hang on to for my new intro that's being made. Let me know what you think in chat. Welcome on in. I have so much to talk about today since you guys haven't heard me over here. I've been over on TikTok having a lot of issues with the multi streaming. It goes well for X and TikTok and the other, but not this YouTube channel. So today we are just on YouTube and X. And I am so excited to get into a bunch of cases, but I want to give my opinion today. There's going to be a lot of me talking and catching up since you guys have not heard from me, and I apologize for that. But let me know what you think of the song, which one you think is the best, and we're going to get into some of the stuff that's been going on YouTube, as well as in this one case involving another autistic individual that was unalived by a family member. The reason I'm doing it all today is because autism is such a big part of our life. And we have the profound autism. We have other people on here that I have interacted with that I want, to kind of address, as well as this new trend with the Tylenol. There's just a lot. So let me know what you think about these songs, and we'll be getting into it shortly.
My man, they got a baby on my hip. Special needs kids, yeah, I'm equipped.
Make this a rap song parade comedy. Momming it up. Yo, I'm momming it up. Got my kids on my hip while you're typing up lies with that fictional script. Behind the scenes scheming, but I see through the act. I'm an OG mama, and that's straight up fact. They tried to cancel me, spreading all them lies. My kids are my blessing, not a burden to bear. While you're out here fronting with that fake Hollywood flair. High IQ, beauty with a heart full of grace. Empathy running through me, can't nobody replace. You mad cause I'm genuine, that's driving you mad. Crying crocodile tears, but we all know it's an act. Karma's got a GPS and it's heading your way. Truth gonna shine bright like the sun every day. Next book you publish, better check your facts twice. Cause this mama don't play with your narcissistic, frail old lady. Pity party, poor me act, and that's a fact. JS, just saying, just saying. JK, just kidding, just kidding. Real, recognize real, and you looking unfamiliar. I'm protected by above, my faith getting stronger. Keep my name out your mouth, out your fictional thriller. Cause this momming it up queen gonna last much longer. Yo, I'm momming it up, got my kids on my hip while you're typing up lies with that fictional script. Behind the scenes scheming, but I see through the act. I'm an OG mama, and that's straight up fact. They tried to cancel me, spreading all them lies. My kids are my blessing, not a burden to bear. While you're out here fronting with that fake Hollywood flair. High IQ, beauty with a heart full of grace. Empathy running through me, can't nobody replace. You mad cause I'm genuine, that's driving you mad. Crying crocodile tears, but we all know it's an act. Karma's got a GPS and it's heading your way. Truth gonna shine bright like the sun every day. Next book you publish, better check your facts twice. Cause this mama don't play with your narcissistic, frail old lady. Pity party, poor me act, and that's a fact. JS, just saying. JK, just kidding, just kidding. Real, recognize real, and you looking unfamiliar. I'm protected by above, my faith getting stronger. Keep my name out your mouth, out your fictional thriller. Cause this momming it up queen gonna last much longer. much longer. Yo, it's the Momming It Up crew, queen of the chaos, I'm coming for you. Mama Amenity got my baby in my grip, special needs squad, yeah, we never slip. Ain't no rat, I don't snitch, I don't fold. High IQ, moving sharp, break the mold. Life throws punches, but I'm dodging the fakes. Eyes wide open, I ain't falling for snakes. Red Bull in my hand.
So that was the first funny song. This is the second funny song. These aren't going to be used as regular intros. Not these two. These won't be a part of the regular intros.
It's the Momming It Up crew, queen of the chaos, I'm coming for you. Mama Amenity got my baby in my grip, special needs squad, yeah, we never slip. Ain't no rat, I don't snitch, I don't fold. High IQ, moving sharp, break the mold. Life throws punches, but I'm dodging the fakes. Eyes wide open, I ain't falling for snakes. Red Bull in my hand, keep my hustle on lock. Navigating the madness, I'm steady as a rock. No contract, no games, I'm keeping it true.
Momming it up.
Bringing fire to the crew. Momming it up, yeah, I'm running this game. No fool, no rat, I'm ahead of the lane. Red Bull sipping, I'm sharp like a blade. Momming it up, watch this empire get made. Special needs fam, we're a powerful pack. Every challenge we face, yo, we pushing it back. Ain't nobody fooling me, I see through the lies. Truth's my armor, got that spark in my eyes. Hustle's my anthem, I'm built for the grind. Dodging the drama with a razor sharp mind. Red Bull buzz, keep my energy lit.
Momming it up.
I'm the realest to spit. Momming it up, yeah, I'm running this game. No fool, no rat, I'm ahead of the lane. Red Bull sipping, I'm sharp like a blade. Momming it up, watch this empire get made. Tune in, turn up, let's keep it 100 from the Yo, it's the Momming It Up crew, queen of the chaos, I'm coming for you. Mama man, he got my baby in my grip. Special needs squad, yeah, we never slip. Ain't no rat, I don't snitch, I don't fold. High IQ, moving sharp, break the mold. Life throws punches, but I'm dodging the fakes. Eyes wide open, I ain't falling for snakes. Red Bull in my hand, keep my hustle on lock. Navigating the madness, I'm steady as a rock. No contract, no games, I'm keeping it true.
Momming it up.
Bringing fire to the crew. Momming it up, yeah, I'm running this game. No fool, no rat, I'm ahead of the lane. Red Bull sipping, I'm sharp like a blade. Momming it up, watch this empire get made. Special needs fam, we're a powerful pack. Every challenge we face, yo, we pushing it back. Ain't nobody fooling me, I see through the lies. Truth my armor, got that spark in my eyes. Hustle's my anthem, I'm built for the grind. Dodging the drama with a razor sharp mind. Red Bull buzz, keep my energy lit.
Momming it up.
I'm the realest to spit. Momming it up, yeah, I'm running this game. No fool, no rat, I'm ahead of the lane. Red Bull sipping, I'm sharp like a blade. Momming it up, watch this empire get made. Tune in, turn up, let's keep it 100. From the crib to the chaos, I'm never outdone. Momming it up, where the real ones vibe. No rat, no fool, yo, I'm built to survive. Welcome to the podcast, y'all. Let's get it poppin'.
I miss the 90s. I'm a 90s kid. I wasn't born in the 90s. I'm older.
Momming it up show. I'm the queen of the chaos. Watch me flow. Mama Manny got a baby on my hips. Special needs kids. Yeah, I'm equipped.
Yeah.
I'm dodging life's curveballs, keeping it real. High IQ, sharp like a razor of steel.
I like this the most.
Time, but I'm running this game. With Jesus by my side, I'm igniting the flame. Red Bull in my hand, yeah, I'm powered to go. Tackling challenges, watch me steal the show. Diapers, dreams, and a whole lot of fight. I'm momming it up, bringing truth to the mic. Momming it up, yeah, I'm holding it down. Rising above with my heavenly crown. Red Bull popping, faith never stops.
Momming it up.
Yo, this podcast rocks. Special needs fam, we're a beautiful crew. Every day is a hustle, but we pushing through. No contract, no script, just a heart full of fire. Building my empire, taking it higher. Christ in my corner, he's guiding my way. Through the storms and the struggles, I'm slaying each day. Got that Red Bull buzz, keep my energy tight.
Mom it up.
Bringing love to the mind it up, yeah, I'm holding it down. Rising above with my heavenly crown. Red Bull popping, faith never stops.
Momming it up.
Yo, this podcast rocks. So tune in, vibe out, let's talk real talk. From the crib to the chaos, I'm walking the walk.
Mom it up.
It's the place to be. Faith, love, hustle. Yo, that's me. Welcome to the Momming It Up podcast, y'all. Let's do this. Woo!
I think I like this one the most, like as an intro song. And then I have the other funny song. Let me play the other funny song. It's just in good fun. It's just a parody. It's not, nothing serious. JS, JS, JK, JK.
Real, recognize real, and you looking unfamiliar. Itty bitty party, pour me act. Burden to bear, we all heard it, we all know. You're complaining about your step kiddo. Caregiver.
Oh, maybe I was almost there. Hold on, let's see. Oh, this is my favorite. This beat is a good beat for me. Yep, I like it. It's like hype music. It all pumped up.
Yo, check the mic 1, 2. Is this thing on? Listen up, y'all, before the night's through. We got a force of nature coming at you strong. Momming it up, that's the gig. Believe a status, word is bond. 60 seconds, that's all you get. Real quick, not psychic. Nah, she ain't seeing ghosts.
Although I have seen ghosts in the past, that has happened.
IQ off the charts, she knows. No contracts, just straight facts, raw, unfiltered. She ain't no rat, no way, no how. Momming it up right here, right now. Cold hard truth, coming like a blizzard. Opinion served, no chasing needed. She sees through the BS, quick like a lizard. Planting seeds of wisdom, carefully seeded.
I like these kind of backgrounds. You guys like these backgrounds? So we moved, and I'm in the room that I made, like the sensory room. I definitely fall on the spectrum. I think we're all on the spectrum in some ways, high functioning or low, whatever you want to call it. I don't judge people for their terminology. And I find it really soothing. I think I'm going to have to do this in my office area, or shall I call it a studio area, and put all these lights and stuff. It's very soothing and comforting, like the big bubbler. And I'll have to give you guys a little tour so you can see the sensory room with all of the stuff we have for the kids.
Momming it up.
Oh, here's the parody.
Got my kids on my hip while you're typing up lies with that fictional script. Behind the scenes scheming, but I see through the act. I'm an OG mama, and that's straight up fact. They tried to cancel me, spreading all them lies. JS, just saying that my kids are my blessing, not a burden to bear. We all heard it, we all know. You're complaining about your step kiddo. Caregiving wannabe, you don't want no part of me. I ain't your enemy, but you came after me. Going round for round, sneaky snake. JS, just saying. Trying to play victim guilt trip everyone when you're a liar. Come down off your high horse. You kept coming at me, cause you're full of jealousy. No child's a burden. JS, just saying. While you're out here fronting with that fake Hollywood flair, I'm making movies while you're making guilt trips. Such an unfit advocate. JS, just say. Don't you like my skit? JK, just kidding. Isn't it just a parody? I'll be on the if screen, you'll E in the cling. I'm still waiting on all that money from my contract. JK, just kidding. High Q beauty with a heart full of grace. Empathy running through me, can't nobody replace. You mad cause cause I'm genuine, that's driving you mad. Crying crocodile tears, but we all know it's an act. Karma's got a GPS and it's heading your way. Truth gonna shine bright like the sun every day. Next book you publish, better check your facts twice, cause this mama don't play with your narcissistic, frail old lady. Pity party, pour me act, and that's a fact. JK, just saying, just saying, just say. JK, JK, just kidding, just real, recognize.
JS, JS, JK, JK. You know, it's all in good fun, guys. We have to laugh too, right? And then when we have certain topics, then you have to be very mindful of the fact that we're on a topic that just doesn't warrant laughter and it's not comical. But we're not on that topic yet, so we are going to laugh. And I think it's funny, and I think this song is hilarious. I love the things that AI can do now. It's amazing. I do have friends, that are in the music business, and they are beautifully talented. So I could have them make me a song if I wanted again. They did years ago. But what is the need for that? I mean, my son and his friends were showing me how to make all kinds of music, and it was so much fun. We made songs for the kids. We made songs for, everything and everyone. It was a hoot. It was a hoot. So this one I just thought was hilarious because I just had fun with it. It was a lot of fun. Sometimes people, try to hurt you, and they take things to a level that you just can't understand, and you have to just turn it around because karma comes out in the end.
Isn't it just a parody? I'll be on the if screen, you'll be in the cling. I'm still waiting on all that money from my contract. JK, JK, just kidding, just kidding, just kidding. High Q beauty with a heart full of grace. Empathy running through me, can't nobody replace. You mad cause I'm genuine, that's driving you mad. Crying crocodile tears, but we all know it's an act. Karma's got a GPS and it's heading your way. Truth gonna shine bright like the sun every day. Next book you publish, better check your facts twice, cause this mama don't play with your narcissistic, frail old lady. Pity party, pour me act, and that's a fact. JK, just saying, just saying, just say. JK, JK, just kidding, just real, recognize real. You're looking unfamiliar, I'm protected by above, my faith getting stronger. Keep my name out your mouth, out your fictional thriller, cause this momming it up queen gonna last much longer. Yeah. Mic drop, but gently, cause I got kids to pick up from school. Real, recognize real, and you looking unfamiliar. I'm protected by above, my faith getting stronger. Keep my name out your mouth, out your fictional thriller, cause this momming it up queen gonna last much longer. Mic drop, but gently, cause I got kids to pick up from school. Make this a rap song parade comedy.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun with it. Sometimes when people hurt you in real life, and they hurt you in ways that people don't know and they don't understand, you have to find ways to harness it and laugh about it. And I found that through different things with the AI music. It was very therapeutic. And with the topic today, I thought it would be a good time to share, because it's going to be a really sad topic, because certain things in life are more personal, right? And when it comes to autism and profound autism, it hits our family and it's very personal for me. And I think that above anything and everything, what you stand for and what you are as a person should never be taking a back seat just for, you know, popularity or money, you know. I really don't know how to word it, to be honest.
Yo, I'm momming it up, got my kids on my hip, while you're typing up lies with that fictional script. Behind the scenes scheming, but I see through the act. I'm an OG mama, and that's straight up fact. They tried to cancel me, spreading
This
all
is the
the
last
lies.
one.
My kids are my blessing, not a burden to bear, while you're out here fronting with that fake Hollywood flair. High IQ, beauty with a heart full of grace, empathy running through me, can't nobody replace. You mad cause I'm genuine, that's driving you mad, crying crocodile tears, but we all know it's an act. Karma's got a GPS and it's heading your way, truth gonna shine bright like the sun every day. Next book you publish, better check your facts twice, cause this mama don't play with your narcissistic frail old lady. Pity party, poor me act, and that's a fact. JS, just saying, just saying. JK, just kidding, just kidding.
Just saying.
Real, recognize real, and you looking unfamiliar. I'm protected by above, my faith getting stronger. Keep my name out your mouth, out your fictional thriller.
I mean, you just don't know when you're trying to get info on people, you know, and you're asking about people and you're calling people saying, do you know this person's family? Do you know who they are? Do you know them? You just don't know who you're calling and asking. You just don't know, you know? It's maybe why we should keep YouTube and entertainment. It's not healthy.
Cause this momming it up queen gonna last much longer.
If I apply for a job or something, then you can, you know, do my references. But if we're doing this with regular people,
while you're typing up lies
no.
with that fictional script, behind the scenes scheming, but I see through the act. I'm an OG mama, and that's straight up fact. They tried to cancel me, spreading all them lies. My kids are my blessing, not a burden to bear, while you're out here fronting with that fake Hollywood flair. High IQ, beauty with a heart full of grace, empathy running through me, can't nobody replace. You mad cause I'm genuine, that's driving you mad, crying crocodile tears, but we all know it's an act. Karma's got a GPS and it's heading your way, truth gonna shine bright like the sun every day. Next book you publish, better check your facts twice, cause this mama don't play with your narcissistic frail old lady. Pity party, poor me act, and that's a fact. JS, just saying. JK, just kidding, just kidding. Real, recognize real, and you looking unfamiliar. I'm protected by above, my faith getting stronger. Keep my name.
So yeah, these are fun songs. So hopefully this person, if it was about anybody, if AI had any persons in mind or anything, you know, who knows? The AI is just unbelievable. You type in a couple things and it's like, we're going to have to do that over here on the channel. We did it on TikTok a little bit where you can make different songs. Oh my gosh, it's hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. Now, sadly, can you guys hear me okay? Because I don't have I wonder if I should plug. I have the little Yeti I could plug in. If you can't hear me, just let me know. Oh, can I not see the YouTube chat? I can see this one. No, where'd it go? Hi, Shay, how are you? I just caught up on one of your videos, actually, last night. I'm learning a lot. I don't know anything about that case to the level of how much there is. My gosh. You presented so well. Hi, Holly. How are you? So unfortunately, we have to take a little bit of a turn from, more comical relief. What is it called? Comedic relief. Because I do think there's ways, like healthy ways, that we can have outlets even when we're in situations that are a little bit triggering, and there's a balance, I think. And since you guys haven't heard the last couple lives that I did, I wanted to give you the chance to listen and let me know what you thought about if any of the songs should be used in my real intro, besides the funny songs. The funny songs are just going to be used sometimes. Sometimes if somebody keeps poking around in my life, I don't know what they're expecting to find, but we're not going to find it. So thank you guys for stopping by for this special segment we're going to have today. It's on a heartbreaking and urgent issue, and that's the disproportionate violence faced by autistic children, and particularly those with profound autism. So not high functioning, not level 3, but it happens at a disproportional rate to profound autistic children, which is now classified as level 1. We have the different levels, and they just go by how much support the person needs. The more support you need, the higher the level. So level 1 means that you need more one-on-one support. I personally wish that we could go back to the way that it used to be with autism diagnostics. I don't like the spectrum, because I've seen a different side of what it seems to be, what it's happening to our children and loved ones and adults that are profound. Those that are severe or nonverbal. And nonverbal doesn't mean that they don't have any language whatsoever or they cannot make sounds. It means that they don't have any communicative speech. So, for example, my one little girl was diagnosed as severe profound. She didn't have any language at all besides different stimming and sounds and things for sensory, really. And then she started scripting or parroting, which is reciting things over and over. So maybe it's a show that she likes to listen to, or if you said something, maybe she'd say the word back, but she didn't have the communicative speech. And lately she started showing beginning communicative speech, but she's still diagnosed as nonverbal when we just redid a bunch of evaluations for her. And I've had a lot more diagnostics and evaluations and things with my daughter than you'll normally see with this, because we have participated in different trials. I was very blessed to know people that were able to get us into certain studies and things like that. And so we've had a lot of regular testing, nothing intrusive. We did do like an MRI, and we did do full blood makeup of genetics and things, because trying to understand what can help the treatments a little more, because profound autism can be painful. And if you have a child with it, or you're a caregiver, or you're close to someone, you know what I'm talking about, where the meltdowns and things are, you can tell that they're in pain, they're suffering, and you want to do whatever you can to help them. You want to help them. You also want to help your entire family, because it becomes a really difficult endeavor on everyone, because you're all in this together. And so it has been really disheartening that politics always seems to turn people ugly now, right? And we see this trend where I even had a loved one make a video about wanting a high-functioning autistic child, popping fake Tylenol with a pillow in her shirt. And so for me, the spectrum, I've seen a different side where it's not all fun and games. There's a lot of children and individuals that are suffering immensely, families that are suffering because we have a lack of available resources. We have a lack of available qualified therapists. We don't have a lot of funding for things like animal therapy and respite or modern ABA. I'm not into certain styles, but so it's sad when you see people thinking that they're wanting to have a child that's autistic and they're really meaning it because they're misunderstanding what autism actually means on the spectrum now. So anyway, I just wanted to share that because it's been rather shocking and astounding to me that so many people are becoming so ignorant, because you would think that we have such a high rate of profound severe autism happening now that we'd all be trying to find what is causing this, right? For all different things, all different reasons. Obviously, there's not just one answer. And what can we do to best help people? Is there something that might help certain individuals? Is there something that might help this or that? We do it with everything. We do it with diabetes. We do it with, ear infections. We do it with depression. We do it with anxiety, ADD. You're always trying to find ways to help the person be able to be a happier, healthier person, right? And why people are trying to put this bow on autism, like if you want to help your loved one, then somehow you're a horrible person and you're trying to change who they are, and they cannot, it's just, these topics I used to stay away from because they're personal, right? They're more personal, so I can't be as objective. But there's no reason for me to steer clear of being personal when I'm talking to all of you, because you're not a gigundo audience, right? And we're all here to share and to chat. And I'm not, muzzled, so to speak. I'm free to interact and talk about whatever I want. So I figured, you know what, this is time for me to just come on and ramble, because when I was at my lowest as a mom, and I really was desperate to find people that understood what I was going through, because I love my daughter more than anything, but I don't love the autism and what it was doing to her and what it was doing to us. It was so difficult. And I know there's so many other parents and caregivers that are going through that exact time period. And you're alone, because it's very hard to find other people that know that this too shall pass. For us and a lot of the people that I met, it's 2 to 4 years old, like 2 to 4, 2 to 6, depending on, because everybody's totally different, but it is the hardest because it's like terrible twos on steroids, and you don't know, you can't help them. You don't know what to do. They're just, everything is hurting, right? They're hurting when they're having meltdowns, and then they're going to break a leg, and you don't want them to break their leg while they're melting down, because they're kicking, and you can tell they're in pain. And as a mom, it is horrible because you cannot fix it, and you want to fix it. And I would just go into my master closet, and every now and then I would just cry and pray, because I'm like, what can I do? How do I help her? We were on lockdown during this, so resources were non-existent. They were only virtually available. And the struggles that I had with getting support and getting the diagnosis and getting the services, if I could have those kind of struggles with the connections that I had, that I was blessed to have already in my life, I could not even imagine what the average person was going through. I couldn't imagine. So in those times, I found myself looking on TikTok, looking on YouTube, looking on Facebook, because I'm like, there's got to be other people out there that know that I love my daughter, but I need to find a community that knows that I don't love this. How do I do it? What do we do? How do we get through this? And in that aspect, I stumbled on certain people, including some creators, even in the true crime genre during that. And it's really sad because we all deal with things differently, but my gosh. Anyway, I don't know what made me go off on that tangent. I'm sorry. Let me reload my little notes and stuff. Oh, yay, the chat's back, guys. I can see you. Yeah, Shay, I agree. Thank you, Shay. Thank you, Holly. I appreciate you so much. Yeah, you know, Shay, that's the thing. Like we know in our heart if we're in a situation where we have to, right? And none of us, I was only in that situation once, where I was around something that I saw and it was awful because I said, oh my gosh, what do you do? Because you do not know what environment is the child going to go into, right? Because we have such a horrible mess right now with fostering, and we have children all across the country too. It's not just like a Tennessee thing or a New York thing where I used to live, that are in DSS buildings. They're in the hospitals for longer. There's no homes. And then some of the homes are awful. And you have to say, okay, well, if this child is removed, are they going to be in more danger? Are they going to get abused differently where they're going? I mean, it's such a conundrum, right? The opposite of what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be there so that if there is a situation, we know that there's help that can come in and help the mom, the dad, the caregivers, but get the child to a safe place. And now I found in that time that I was like, okay, well, I know that that isn't the case, right? This, there isn't this white picket fence family waiting on the other side necessarily, right? And somebody else ended up making that call, and I had to thank God because it was something that I really didn't want to do. But in the couple minutes of me thinking in my mind, somebody else already called. So he took that from me, thank God. And I know I'm just saying, I know it's not an easy decision. And I know most people that do have to call, or you are a mandated reporter, you take it very seriously. You're not just doing it to hurt people. Unfortunately, I have found that there are people that do just do it to hurt people. I experienced it not long ago, and there was no rational reason. And as the lady was reading to me what the call was and verbal, saying out loud what was written, even she was just like, this is what, like, YouTube, people are saying something from the internet. Like, it was just very bizarre. And it's such a race to resources. It's just sad that anybody would feel the need to do that. There is so much suffering and so many kids that are really hurting. Oh, geez, Shay. Yeah, that's a totally, exactly. There's anything is better at that point than that, right? Because he could freeze, kidnapped, get hurt, get sick. It's just a whole slethora of, I'm so sorry to hear that. I hope, did she get the help she needed? I have a good friend right now that she's an RN and smart, courageous, amazing person that I've been blessed to know, because we all have faults, right? I mean, for example, if I'm in my car and I'm heated about something and the kids can't hear me, I say the F-bomb quite often. However, I would never do that on a live. I wouldn't do it at work. I wouldn't do it in front of Nana and Papa. I wouldn't do it in front of any of my elders, even though now I'm in my 40s, but still. So nobody's without flaws. None of us are perfect. And so I don't mean it in that way. But lately, she had another baby and she's not okay. And I'm like, I've known her since we were born pretty much. And I'm far away now and I'm watching and I'm trying and praying because I'm like, does anybody see what's happening here? She's not herself. And sometimes I think, when we have children, that postpartum can hit us later, and of course, rugs. So many people get, that's just a heartbreaking situation, especially what I found in the South. It's like they came in and gave everybody the answer for all the aches and pains of the hard work, right? Especially farming. And then it was like, oh, well, we just actually, you were taking Motrin and we came in with something that now you have to take physically. And it did it. I mean, really what they did in the South, Tennessee, Kentucky, I can't even rationalize. That's why I couldn't do the addiction counseling when I was doing chemical dependency. When I got the CASAC certifications and in college, I was just like, we're not setting things up to help people, in my opinion. I didn't see how it was helping. I was seeing people with real pain that were forced onto, MAT. And then I was seeing people that shouldn't be on MAT being put on MAT while pregnant and put on high levels of, MAT therapy. I mean, that's for another stream. I'm sorry, but I hope that she did get the help that she needed so she could be the mom she needed to be. Oh, Shay, that's got to be I can't imagine having to go through that and wondering if he's all right. Yeah, that's when lines cross, right? Well, that was the thing I think with one of our, I think it was can't remember if it was the step aunt, but we had somebody in our family that fought addiction, and it was anything pretty much, sometimes I think it was alcohol. And I know that many times I would, be eavesdropping on Nana's kitchen table talks because everybody would sit around our kitchen table or they'd sit on the front porch Nana had the porch swing. And you'd always listen as children, right? Because I was raised, children are to be seen and not heard. But we're always listening. And I remember that one family member that had addiction, and they knew that having the kids removed would make it worse. So they all said, and so they would literally all take turns going there, making sure they were clean, bathed, making sure they were fed, taking them on weekends, taking them in the summertime. And it breaks my heart because the way, my family it was huge, gigundo, but it took a village, right? And I was raised where everybody helped each other. And I've learned as I've gotten older, that doesn't really seem to be the way it really is in my generation. Nana and Papa are in their 90s. Nana crossed over, but she's in heaven now. And it was very different for their families. They were very close and tons of siblings. But now it's not like that. It seems like people have less siblings or less immediate people in our villages. So when you have children with a severe disability, like profound autism, for example, it's even less of a village. and you become even more isolated, and it's more stressful. So a lot of things come with that, right? And if you add addiction or feel good stuff to that, it's just it's a disaster waiting to happen. Because people often laugh and they're like, oh, why don't you drink? It's not that I can't drink, I just choose not to. I don't want to. I already drink enough Red Bull because I have to get up at all kinds of hours of the evening because of the baby. Sometimes even my daughter, she finally started sleeping through the night and wasn't having these night terror things or whatever they were that were happening about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, when the baby came. So that's always been a blessing. She's a pretty good sleeper, but she just gets up early. But he still gets up, right? Because he had a botched surgery. So we don't know until he could talk what the nerve pain feels like from, he had another very, lengthy 6.5 hour surgery trying to give him the ability to have sensory sensation, in his foot, because his main tendon and artery was severed during a very simple procedure. So he wakes up a lot. And then some of it's just habit because he was used to getting a baba. And so I'm hooked on caffeine, and I know that's a drug as well, but hey, it's working. It helps. But the thing for me is that if I have a glass of wine or I don't want to take that chance. I just don't want to, because I already know that my life is very stressful. Because my older son, now that he's a teenager, he does his own wound care, because he has this rare condition that he goes around advocating and talking, and he's very outspoken with it. And he can kind of manage it himself now. So I don't really have to do his wound care like I used to. But I have it's just a lot. I have the baby can't walk yet, so he has a little walker. He has a little baby walker. And so we got that. And then we have my daughter and my son in the Army and house and chores and papa and, life, right? So I am not comfortable taking that risk. Even though I haven't had any problems with it in the past, I'm not going to take a chance. Because what if I feel something and I want another glass tomorrow, right? And I'm like, oh, nope, I'm just not going to take that chance. I do remember that, Holly, because years ago when my oldest son was little, I was college age. I was very young when I was married and had my first son. And he would go out on his visits, to his dad. And I had a second job doing promotional marketing modeling. And we'd go out and, hands out Red Bull or alcohol samples. And we couldn't drink while we were doing that. But afterwards, if we changed and we weren't representing the brand, we could go somewhere else. And there was very few times that I drank. And but let me tell you, that was something I learned really fast was horribly not a good idea. Because then I would have to get up and, pull it together. And you're like dehydrated and you feel like, ugh. And then go pick my son up. And I'm like, oh my God. No thanks. But I do think some people, they are able to do it in moderation without a problem. It's just for me. I'm like, if I already have this stress, I'm already at an increased risk because I'm so hooked on regular Red Bull. And I often joke about it because I'm like, yeah, I think I am addicted to this stuff because I like it. Now, I've gone without it and I don't get, mad at anybody or anything, but I think it's just, depends on the person. And if you have people in your life that can reel it back in for you, then that's good, right? They can say, hey, you're doing too much. I see that you're drinking again. That's like, wow, that's a lot. I mean, the last couple times we talked, you were drinking. Are you all right? It's all about that village. Do you have people that can be honest with you? And you can't just block them or not talk to them, right? People that will keep showing up and hold you accountable, not to be mean, but because you care. If we don't have that, it's so easy, to fall into a mess. And so during those couple of years, I was just drawn to how helpful being a creator can be for other people, because while we were on lockdown, and even if we weren't on lockdown, I don't think it would have mattered, because I didn't know many people that were going through that, but I could find them online, right? And so I think a lot of us need that. We need that village. We need that community of support, of people that get you. You don't want to talk. You don't want to be a burden. You don't want to be a victim. You don't want to be the center of attention. You just want to be accepted, where you all know each other. Like, I already know if you said, oh, last night was a long one. She got up or he got up 3 times wanting to get a glass of water. We slept for like 3 hours because he just had to keep getting glasses of water. And that's it, right? And then we don't harp on it. We don't have to explain it. You already know it. And you get each other. I think that's, what we all want. We always want people that can have things in common with us, but also, it's not, I don't know though, because social media has been such a big help, I think, for so many of us in those situations. And it just changed my whole perspective on how powerful it could be for the good. Even though there's a lot of times that we often hear, the negative. I know what it was like as that one person. Nobody in my friends and family would have known that I would go in there and have a secret cry. Nobody would have. Because I didn't want anybody to ever think that I didn't love my child, right? But other moms with children going through the same thing, they understood that. They knew exactly how we feel. But now I'm noticing there's a lot more people that are having children with really profound severe, whereas before it was not. It is much, much higher of a level. And I'm not trying to get into why. It could be, I think it's a bunch of different causes. And we have to be able to find a way to let people have that space to connect to one another. And when that happens, unfortunately, it gets monopolized, from my experience, by a lot of people that have children that are not even, it's not the same. Having a child that can tell you what they want if they're sick, what they want for Christmas, is not the same as having a child that you are planning the rest of their life. You have to think about who's going to take care of them when you're not here. You're worried when they finally get to go to school. What if somebody touches them in an inappropriate way? What if somebody is, not just in a horrible way that we hear about them being taken but in, physically. A lot of times people can put their hands on them. We just had an issue at the school, and the teacher kept documenting how Haley was having a fit. They were supposed to have their BCBA, behavioral, right, and applied behavioral analysis, a bachelor's in it. And they would know, no, she's not taking a fit. She doesn't know how to have a fit yet. If she's getting to a point of having, a meltdown, something's going on, what's happening? So for us, it's like, okay, we know that our child can't even tell us what happened. What happened? She just got bit for the first time because of the wait lists and the services being so limited. she's been having to be with me all the time. And she's finally in an environment that she can flourish. But that came with another child with his own set of challenges that bit her. And it broke her little heart because she had no idea what happened, right? But at the same time, now, in a weird way though, she kind of understood, like, okay, I can't be in his space, because I think she was in his space. Not that it's okay. I'm not, justifying it, but at all. But you don't know, they can't tell you. So it's not the same. It's just not. She can't tell me what's going on. But you have children that can, or individuals that can. If you have it, so it doesn't fit together. And it's important that we have these areas where we can just be ourselves and we don't have to explain, because it's not a competition. It's not a competition. Oh. I completely understand, Shay. But that's why I'm like, social media can be amazing if we utilize it for the right things and we don't focus on the wrong things, whatever that is to us at the time, right? And as much as I was trying to stay away from some of these topics, I just, I go back to thinking, well, there was those couple times that really finding strangers online when I had tons of people I could call, my good friend is a behavioral therapist. Like, I had plenty of, I have a family member, my godson's mom, and he's profound. He's 24 now, and he also has a heart condition and very, very little communicative speech, and he constantly needs care. But it wasn't the same. They wouldn't understand. I just wanted to find people that got it and that could tell me, we're going to, it's going to get better. We're going to figure out how do you get it better, right? At the most challenging times. So I feel like if one person stumbles on something that we're talking about, even if it's 5 minutes, you never know, that might be enough to help them. Because right now, when you get on here, and I'm sure you guys have seen it with other things, when we go online, we have so many communities now and so many Facebook groups and forums and websites and for everything, right? Whether it's certain types of cooking, whether it's different conditions, different dietary restrictions, Alzheimer's, caregiving, all kinds of different things for different reasons. But when it comes to autism, it's really hard to find one that is not all encompassing across the board. So you'll find a ton of, higher functioning. It's hard. It's hard for us to kind of find a place. And then people get very offended. I can't tell you how many people emailed me back when I did that podcast, and they were like, I can't believe you're so insensitive. And I was like, oh my Lord. And since I keep saying profound autism, the definitions for why that's being used now, right, is it's defined as children that have individuals, because obviously it's not just children, we all grow, they are under a 50 IQ. And they're mostly nonverbal, which we talked about earlier, what that is. So they're at the highest risk. And they found just now in 2025 from the CDC, I could post the studies in the description or in the chat if you guys want, that profound autism is rising so sharply, and it's affecting 0.75 to 0.85 of 8-year-olds, up a 6,000% increase. since the first cases and things started really being documented. And that was in the 1960s. And I mean, I know that really is it. I know people are like, no, it's just we have more resources. Yes, there's no doubt. If you're living this life, you would see there is children with severe and profound at rates that I don't think anybody is understanding or ready for. Because what are we going to do? We have so many of these little kids. They're going to grow. They're continuing to grow up into teens and adults. And I don't know that many people realize just how much of an increase there is until like when we were looking for services and trying to get into schools. And I realized, wow, this is really much higher than it was with the boys. I had a lot more knowledge in this because my ex-brother-in-law, God rest his soul, was profoundly autistic. We just lost him last year to choking. He was what they had called a shoveler, a piler. He would eat extremely fast. And you had to, he was in a residential facility because he was very tall and he needed constant, sometimes 2-on-1 care because he was such a big guy. And he had no communication whatsoever. He was completely nonverbal. And somehow he was in a situation that he got a bone from eating chicken in his throat. And it was a horrible, horrible tragedy. It was nobody's fault because everybody there was watched. It was literally just a horrible timing of him being walked by as they were taking it out of the oven. It's just a really sad, horrible situation. Sometimes accidents really do happen. And it is a good thing for so many reasons that we have the cameras in a lot of our homes for these children and for adults, in a lot of our clinics and things, because had it not been for certain things, I think that a lot of people would have felt like he was not being, taken care of right, because everybody knew he could not be around food. You had to make sure that it was cut up and you gave him little bits. And he sadly passed away. So I have a lot more experience with this stuff because I was around, caring for him. And it's a very different experience because I'm a little person, right, in comparison to the 6'2", and I knew him as he grew up. So I've been, I've seen a lot more because of that. My mother-in-law, that she's also not here anymore, God rest her soul. That was a whole different tragedy. She was such an advocate for him and trying to find out how to help him and what to do for him. And we would watch the home videos of him because he was saying words. And then, at about 3 years old, everything just stopped. And you could just see it was like it just shut down. And he could no longer communicate. And it was just heartbreaking. So she was so involved, and I had learned so much through her that when I had my daughter, it was just like, wow, something's not adding up here, because we have these resources that people like her fought so hard for us to have in New York. And yet I couldn't get any of these consistent things for my daughter because there were so many people in need of them, And with that came a lot of horrible tragedies where you hear of people snapping and taking the lives of children and individuals that have, profound disabilities. And what we started to notice, some of us that have been talking about it, is that there's this new undertone, almost like people are making excuses for it. When I'm sorry, I cannot agree with that whatsoever. I cannot. There is never a time that I can make an excuse for somebody snapping and doing that to another person, let alone a child, ever. I cannot. Not in America, no, because of what Shay and everybody we were talking about before. We have resources available. We can call for help, immediate help. If we're in a situation that we cannot handle anymore, we have Child Protective Services. We have 911. We have places to call immediately, and they will take over. So I cannot ever rationalize this culture that's forming of justifying people doing that, saying it's because we don't have enough resources, because we don't have enough help for families. Believe me, I am desperately advocating all the time for more consistency and more funding. But I also know the reality that these kind of jobs are kind of like a calling, so to speak. You have to be a certain person. You have to have a certain personality to take on these types of jobs, to work with kids and individuals with this level of neurodivergence, right? It is profound behavioral issues that occur sometimes. You will get hurt, pretty much, in this field. Whether you're a teacher, an aide, a therapist, they will end up getting kicked or bit, or there's nothing you can do about it. So you have to understand that when we have an overwhelming amount of people having these conditions, where do you have, like, it's not just about money. You also need to have people that want to do these jobs, because we're getting a lot of people that do not want to do it, but they're getting their RBT, because I have that, the registered behavioral therapy certification, and they're going to the homes and doing ABA therapy, and they're doing it in school or in the clinic setting, and they're just doing it because it's a good pay, and it's a fast certification, it's a fast requirement and or requirement for their college. They're getting the BCBA because it was the easiest to do in the psychology for the bachelor's. And you don't want people like that working in these kind of jobs. Those are the people that are not meant to do it. So, right, they're not, some of us just don't like spicy food, right? I'm not going to make spicy food. I know this is a horrible analogy. I'm tired. I need to have a Red Bull, right? But you're not going to work with children if you can't handle stressful environments, right? If you're too quick to react. So we don't want that, we don't want that. There's no quick, easy fix for all of this, I guess is what I'm saying, which is why I think we all have to talk more and try not to be in our, echo chambers where we're hearing the things that maybe we want to hear, because we got to come up with some sort of solutions. It's weird, guys. It's odd, because I have been around these communities for a while, and I have seen such a change that it's just really strange to me. When in the world would we ever get to that place of thinking that there's something that's excusable? And I'm not saying that people don't deserve forgiveness. We have a judicial process. We have, laws, and we have you do the crime, you pay the time. So I'm not saying that people can't be forgiven, but I don't think that it's good at all to have this illusion as if it's acceptable because of A, B, C, and D. Am I making sense with what I'm saying? I don't know if I'm getting across what I really am trying to say. Hey, Little Red, how are you? Hi, Liz. Thank you for stopping by. So I think for me, I'm like, well, the only thing I can do is just talk, right? And I find talking and respite for me right now at the place I am in my life is sitting here and talking with you guys on podcasts and on YouTube or X. I'm like, well, maybe I can do a little bit of talking. Maybe that's a way that we could try to come up with ideas or, you know, be helpful, be a place for people to talk. And because this is really odd, I'll have to show you another time because I've been looking for it and I can't pull it up, but I just wanted to show you like this overwhelming amount of people that are like totally they're almost making it acceptable. And I'm like, no, there's never a time. We need to be counteracting that and reminding everyone, no, that's not true. We have help. That's what these things are for. And if you're ever in that situation, you walk away. You go, you know, one of the things that they teach us, if there's a real big meltdown occurring, is you have to be safe. So you have to go to a safe room, shut the door. And what we used to do with my brother-in-law, you know, we kept saying, you know, we need to be safe right now. You know, I need to be safe. And you had to, because he was going to be able to hurt you. Not that he wants to hurt you, but he's in a meltdown, right? And certain times there's nothing you can do to stop it. You know, I know there's all kinds of, depending on the situation, ways to restrain and things like that, but there is a lot of times that you can't. And so you would just walk away and try, you know, to see if they can regulate, call for help. But if you're getting so upset, you're getting angry, you have to go into another room. You have to calm yourself down, right? You have to do it as well. And just like with new babies, you're exhausted and if the baby is crying and crying or you have colic, you walk away, right? They can't go anywhere. They can't move. It's okay. It's safer for them to cry for 5 minutes and for you to go take a breather than for shaken baby to happen, right? These are all the tools that we give to one another and we encourage each other to do because we're all human. We're all going to have to be mom or caregiver when we're sick with the flu and we have a throbbing headache, you know, but you have to find ways to cope. And I don't like this. I'm like, we cannot be making it okay that people are unaliving children because they have such a profound disability and saying it's because there's no help. We cannot normalize this. Okay. I'm not like, I'll do everything I can to make sure this is not happening. You know, I had a big group that we used to have for a long time in New York on my personal thing, and we all talked all the time about it. Let's see. I'm trying to pull up the news story that I saw. So I'll show you the case that got me talking and thinking about all of this again in a moment. But one of the statistics now is that it's 47%. If you guys can't tell, I love numbers and statistics, and I know that they're not 100%, but that's how my brain works. I look at things like, you know, 47% of autistic children homicides are because of overwhelming stress. That's what they're saying. That's what's happening. And it's exacerbated by the behaviors like the elopement when they just run away you have no idea, they'll just take off on you, or they'll get out and wander. So parents of profound autism. Oh, here we go. Sorry about that. I don't know why this happens with this darn thing. So basically, like, it's just showing that the statistics right now that they're getting are also like all of the paras, which are like your one-on-one aides, people that can come in, or the aide that's with them during their school day. I advocate for, children to be able to have a reduced day so that sometimes they don't have to stay the whole 6 to 7 hours, but not every parent seems to be able to do that. Either they need the child care, so it's like a big mess. But the paras, the aides, after 6 hours are saying that they're beyond exhausted. They just can't wait to go home. They can't, it's exhausting. So it's like, okay, well, imagine doing it 24/7 all the time without any aid, right? Without anyone. Because there's a lot of caregivers that it's just them. They don't even have a spouse or, anybody. It's just, solely on them. And I think one of the reasons that we see this big increase with the step parents complaining and not being able to tolerate it, or, snapping and horrible things coming it's a higher rate of a step parent doing that, actually, statistically, is because a lot of times they don't have the same bond with the child that a mom and a dad have with that child. And they don't have the training. They haven't grown with the profound autism, right? Because you go through the phases of it as they're growing. And they're saying that's amplifying some of the frustration that may be causing why there's such an increased rate in it. I personally think that it really is a bond thing a lot of times, that if you don't have that love and, you look at it like I said, like that one person saying, oh, she was throwing a fit and she wasn't listening, you're looking at it like there's something wrong, like it's because they're bad. You're not looking at it like, okay, my child doesn't understand. They don't know how to communicate. They are in pain. They only can have a meltdown, right? Patience and all of these coping mechanisms is something that we all learn. We're not born with it. So it's just really shocking. However, the biggest thing that I realized is that 30 to 40% of those that have unalived their stepchild or their child, they're saying is because of a mental illness. A lot of times it's just psychosis. So that was a statistic, that I think is really important. Because if we have friends and family and loved ones that are suffering like that, we need to really sit down and try to get them help. And 55%, according to this study in 2025, says that 55% of the victims that had been unalived were on the severe ASD spectrum. And right now in society, we have the media kind of framing it as mercy on alivings due to the burden of the disability, right? And to me, it seems like it's excusing the perpetrators. It's giving people lighter sentencing. Half of these parents or step parents are saying that they believe that they're doing a mercy because they're ending suffering for the child. Saying that they believe that, unaliving them ends the suffering. And it's fueled by all these bullshit myths, like 80% of divorce rates are caused by autism. That's not true. It's only 14%. And step families internalize this often, viewing non-biological kids as problems. They really do. Oh, it's such a problem. I had to get up with them last night. I have to deal with this. Oh, it's such a burden. I want to sleep at night. I can nap during the day, right? I've seen this right here on YouTube with other creators. I've seen it right on YouTube, right on TikTok, right on YouTube, where you have those parents, they only have one child, right? They got the child going to school all day. They're not in the house with them all day. And they sit right there and they complain, well, I had to get up with them last night. I'm so tired. Instead of just going and sleeping. They don't have a job to do. They don't have any other children to care for. They'll be on their TikTok or on their YouTube complaining when they could just go to sleep and take a nap. But instead, let's make it the child's fault. Let's make them the burden. They're the problem. Because that's what we're seeing. It's happening a lot of times. And I think it is because they don't have the same bond. And I'm not saying I haven't seen it with moms, but I haven't seen it with moms the same way. And that's what I think a lot of the statistics are showing us from these trials of these parents that, have unalived their children. Hold on, let me open this one up so I can show you the case of Gigi Jordan. Like this one advocate, right, constantly is saying, autism doesn't cause the unaliving. It's the lack of resources and support. And I completely disagree with it. I think you're causing it. Whoever did it, you caused it. There's never a reason that we should justify it. There is support. There is always support if you are going to think about doing something to hurt someone. We have 911. We have CPS. They will take the child. We have adult protective services. So I will never agree with these advocates that are making this normal. It should not be normalized, in my opinion. I'm never going to do it. Two things can be true at the same time. But making excuses because people don't have the same love and the same bond for a child, making it an excuse just because they don't have the same love and bond. They look at that child or that person as a burden. They're already looking at them as less than. That's a you problem. But if you love that child and you love them, they're not the burden. It is the diagnosis that you want to fix and you want help with. Right? So I see this very differently. And I think it is because of how the bonding is. It's very different. And I'm not saying it's not true either. That's what I mean. For these people, they're telling the truth, right? That's how they feel. To them, that's how it is. That's simple for them. For me, it's not. And I think we should be louder with what to do so you don't unalive a child or a person just because they have severe autism or anything, right? What can you do? Call 911. Call Adult Protective Services. Call CPS on yourself. There's things you can do. I don't know how there's more attention being brought on making excuses for why it's happening instead of focusing on how about we make sure it doesn't happen and give people a way not to ever have it happen and work on the resources and everything around that. But at least let's get ahead of this and say, no, mercy unalivings are not okay, ever. Doesn't matter. It's not the same thing as, in my opinion, as snapping, right? We've seen all those shows on Snapped. I just watched an episode of Fear Thy Neighbor where this guy completely just snaps in the heat of the moment. There was no premeditation, nothing. He just snapped. That's totally different, in my opinion. But if you're already a caregiver of somebody with these levels of need, right, and they need this level of care, no, I don't have an excuse for you. I'm sorry. You should already know and have memorized who to call for help if you're ever in a situation where you think that you are going to do something like that. Yeah, Holly, they always bring it up. They try all the time to turn it into me talking about that. So it's just really, interesting when you look into it, what's happening. All right, let me bring this case up again because it's not showing on the screen. Let's see. Hold on one moment. I'll be right back. You could listen to my parody song while I pull this up on this other monitor here again. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. I appreciate each and every one of you.
They tried to cancel me, spreading all them lies. My kids are my blessing, not a burden to bear, while you're out here fronting with that fake Hollywood flair. High IQ, beauty with a heart full of grace, empathy running through me, can't nobody replace. You mad cause I'm genuine, that's driving you mad, crying crocodile tears, but we all know it's an act. Karma's got a GPS and it's heading your way, truth gonna shine bright like the sun every day. Next book you publish, better check your facts twice, cause this mama don't play with your narcissistic frail old lady. Pity party, poor me act, and that's a fact. JS, just saying, just saying. JK, just kidding, just kidding. Real, recognize real, and you looking unfamiliar. I'm protected by above, my faith getting stronger. Keep my name out your mouth, out your fictional thriller. Cause this momming it up queen gonna last much longer. Yo, I'm momming it up, got my kids on my hip, while you're typing up lies with that fictional script. Behind the scenes scheming, but I see through the act. I'm an OG mama, and that's straight up fact. They tried to cancel me, spreading all them lies. My kids are my blessing, not a burden to bear, while you're out here fronting with that fake Hollywood flair. High IQ, beauty with a heart full of grace, empathy running through me, can't nobody replace. You mad cause I'm genuine, that's driving you mad, crying crocodile tears, but we all know it's an act. Karma's got a GPS and it's heading your way, truth gonna shine bright like the sun every day. Next book you publish, better check your facts twice, cause this mama don't play with your narcissistic frail old lady. Pity party, poor me act, and that's a fact. JS, just saying. JK, just kidding, just kidding. Real, recognize real, and you looking unfamiliar. I'm protected by above, my faith getting stronger.
I posted it in chat.
Keep my name out your mouth, out your fictional thriller.
Should come
Cause
up
this
in a
momming
second.
it up queen gonna last much longer.
Let's see.
This momming it up queen gonna last much longer.
How do I get to? I gotta try this other. Try this other streaming service. I'm not enjoying the StreamYards as much as I used to. It used to be a lot easier to navigate StreamYards. But I have more interviews this weekend for the people. I had put out a bunch of the ads for people that want to co-host or do different things on the channel, and that's been a lot of fun. So hopefully I'll be adding a couple more people, and then it'll be a lot easier to do this without the dead air and all these glitches, because I don't know how. I don't know how to do it. So this is one case. Let's see, is it coming up on the screen right? Hey, Trishy, how's it going? It's nice to see you. Thanks for stopping by. It's so nice of you. I hope work's going well and everything's going well. Well, I realized that I hadn't been on the YouTube on Momming It Up over here live streaming lately. So I wanted to catch everybody up on some of the things that I had been talking about, and just going over a bunch of different things that I'm passionate about for a change today, a little bit more feisty than my normal self, I think. But overall, hopefully this helps somebody. I'm talking about when children that are, or individuals with severe autism and severe, neurodivergent are unalived, and how it seems like it's seems to be becoming excusable almost and justifiable. There's like this thing I'm seeing online and in true crime, and it's kind of, for me, it's really concerning. So that's all we're talking about. Pretty laid back. So this is an article that I pretty much can say I kind of stand behind in agreement, because it says caregivers that unalive autistic children need to be viewed and charged as the we're streaming on YouTube, and I gotta look into if the keywords are really that big of a deal still or not. But as you can see, as the M word on the unalivers, that they really are, right? And I just thought that this is done really well. It talks about little London was a sweet little boy who loved fuzzy stuffed animals. He was just 6 years old when his mother threw him off a bridge to his, demise. Alex Sperdaulicus was also unalived by his mother and godmother. They first tried to poison him when he was sleeping, right, using sleeping pills, but that didn't work. His mother grabbed a knife and stabbed him in the chest 4 times. Trigger warning, everyone. Although I think this channel kind of has a trigger warning already, but because of the topics that we're talking about, but I guess I'll say it just to, just to put it out there. And then cut his little wrists. He was a smart 14-year-old who loved balloons and the color yellow. In an elaborate murder, M&S, an entire family of 4 was unalived through airborne gas. One of the children was 10 years old. The daughter, Alyssa, was 11. What did all these children have in common? They were all on the autism spectrum. It is an abhorrent tragedy that stories like this happen at all. Even more so that they are as common as they are now becoming. Some statistics are now estimating that a child, teen, or adult with a disability is unalived by a caregiver at least once a week. The difference between neurotypical and neurodivergent victims. When children are unalived by parents or caregivers, society's response is visceral. I don't think I said that right. visceral, visceral. The unaliver needs to be locked up for life, they said. The actions are utterly disgusting, and the unaliver needs to pay the price for what they have done. Society is unequivocally hostile towards the unaliver. However, society's views are often shifting with a little, when it comes to autism or the disability being put into the picture. So when people hear about something happening to a child, they are more often than not, people want that child to have justice of the utmost kind, right? Lock them up, lock them for life, D penalties if they're in the state. But then when autism or a disability enters the picture, that's what this article is sharing with us, it seems all of a sudden people's opinions change. So the same people that were asked, like the same people change their opinion once you're telling them about the child's disability. The narrative changes from cold-blooded Emmer to a loving parent who suffered and snapped under the burden of caregiving. Sometimes even dotting caregiver who K because the other options were too unbearable. The term mercy K-ing is surprisingly commonly being used. And those convicted now are facing way less severe sentences than people that were convicted for doing it to a child that didn't have these disabilities. And I'm telling you, I cannot wrap my mind around how anybody can sit there and say that a loving parent snaps under the burden of caregiving in the situations of what a lot of these have shown us to be, right? They're not the heat of the moment. They snapped because the child came charging at them in the middle of the night or something. It is something very different. And I think that is a bunch of bullshit, because you know, you're the caregiver, you know how it is, you know how hard it can get, and you know that if you're getting to that level or the child is getting to that, like, you separate. You always have tools in your toolbox. So I don't buy it. I don't buy it. You can, and then they try to pretend that it's being done because the other options were too unbearable. It's too unbearable for the child to go to another home. So you take their life. I mean, what in the, I'm sorry, guys, but really, this is really what it is. Oh, it does. It does, Trishy. In different countries, there's very different opinions. And I think it really depends on the person's, beliefs. A lot of people believe that our children that are disabled and individuals, right, with different disabilities are a gift from God. And a lot of religions, they believe that, they're the most precious. And however, there's also another subset of society that I find that is not how they think of it. They think that they're broken, they're, they shouldn't be here, they're a burden. It's just unbelievable, the different thought processes in different places across this world still in 2025. And I obviously believe that they are a complete gift from the Lord. I think that I just can't believe it. I mean, I met so many people in my life, thanks to my brother-in-law, God rest his soul, that they couldn't speak. They often couldn't do much of anything but kind of wander. And you still knew there was somebody in there. You could still see them. They would lock eyes with you, and you knew, there was a person in there. And it's heartbreaking that nobody sees that little person. I just can't. I can't understand it. Cannot understand it. Let me see, where is the... I'm going to see if I could pull this up. I have this one little interview. See if I could pull up this one interview over here. Yeah, it's across the entire world. It depends. But I think it's based on the person. There's plenty of people, that may practice a certain religion, and they're not going to go along with their, with what they're told. They're going to go along with what they believe. And what their morals are, you know. Definitely think it's across the entire world. People are made differently. Some people just don't, you know, they don't see things the same way. There's this whole Aspie supremacy thing that's gone on. That's why I'm like, I don't get it. It should be separated because it does not match up with profound, you know, neurodivergence. And we do know there's been plenty of children that we have found there is medications and certain things that help, depending on what it is that they're dealing with. Some of them have had a lot of different things happen that have caused, you know, trauma to their brain and development. And so nothing is one size fits all, nothing at all. And it's just shocking to me because this Aspie supremacy thing, it's just, you know, if that's what somebody believes as a whole, then there's nothing that I could do to change it. But that's why we have laws, right? We have rules. And thank God we live in a country in America, that I live in America, where we have laws. You know, you're free to believe whatever you want to believe, but we have laws. So if your beliefs are going to break the law and harm somebody else, then you don't have the right to do it. Because some people, they're not built the same. And when you watch all these cases, we all know it. We watch it all the time. Sometimes it is a mental illness, but sometimes there is no excuse. This person's just doesn't have the same spirit, right? They're just not the same. They are not the same. They don't have a conscience. They have not one bit of empathy whatsoever. Let's see. Trying to show you this one interrogation, and it keeps disappearing. There's somebody in the YouTube community on TikTok and stuff that wrote a book about unalivings with children with autism. And I think it's called Autism K-word, K-I-double-L with an S. They even wrote a book on it. And it was very interesting. If you see the beginning of the book, the first 2 pages of that book, I have that actually, how it has like a weird warning, like don't get any ideas kind of thing. And if you do, don't hold me accountable for it. It's very interesting. So this is definitely a topic that a lot of people talk about and have very different views on, right? Very different views across the board. Come on, YouTube, why won't you load it? What is going on? What is going on? Okay, here we go. I'll have a quick refresher on this really quickly. And just get it over here. You could read the full article. I put the link in the chat. If you want to finish reading that, we'll go back to that. But I wanted to just show you this other side of what this one mom and how she, you know, was pretty famous during this time and how she was making such excuses for what she had done.
No doubt you've heard how Daniela Dawes suffocated.
Okay. One moment. I'm going to get it all set up here.
Killed her autistic son, Jason. You probably have an opinion on the court's decision to let her go free. But there's much more to this family tragedy. For a start, there are the revealing home videos of a very troubled child. But as you'll see, a child who could be cheerful and loving too. Then there's Jason's father, a grieving, angry and bitter man. And always in the background, the unimaginable burden of caring for a child with autism. All clues in this intriguing story of what drove Daniela.
Do you see how even the wording for his script, the unimaginable burden of caring for a child, for me, that is triggering. It just shows how different people feel and say things, right? Because I don't believe the child is a burden whatsoever. The burden is trying to get answers as to how can we help those born with this level of neurological, right? Unique and different disabilities. And I mean, I just don't understand why the burden is the person. It's not the person. It is not the person. And it shouldn't be bad to say we want treatments and we don't want people to have to endure this, right? That's why the whole Tylenol fad and all this political hoopla coming about it, there's way more than Tylenol that is in these studies. And yes, there's a bunch of stuff on acetaminophen, just like there is on everything. That's why when you're pregnant, you're told not to take anything. And even if you're, I mean, it depends on your provider, I guess, but I never had a provider that told me to take a darn thing, because everything you put in your body crosses the placenta. We all know that if we've had children. We're told that a million times. Everything you put on your skin, right? You're not even supposed to put certain makeup on or sunscreen. You're not even supposed to come in contact with certain cleaning products while pregnant. You're not supposed to dye your hair. Because you want to find ways to help the person or the child. You want to find treatments. You want to find options, solutions, resolutions. But it is not the person. Ugh. Sorry, I know he's not saying specifically. I'm just,
Doors to kill her little boy.
I have to live with what happened on August 4, but it's very hard to comprehend that the person that I am ever did such a thing. I miss him so much every day. I wish he was here, and it is so wrong that he's not and I am.
Exactly, Holly. Absolutely. They're trying to rewrite science. I don't understand. Other than they're not dealing with it the way we're dealing with it. Maybe some people just really haven't been impacted. No.
This is home video of Daniela Dawes' son, Jason, the little boy she suffocated to death in the family home last year.
Now, the reason I'm showing you this is because with her, I found I had a lot more empathy because she genuinely seems to regret horribly and miss her child horribly. In my opinion, she really does. But there's a bunch of the step-parent ones that I found that I didn't see this. Even one other parent, I think it's a mom, that you did not see any remorse.
I cannot forgive what she has done.
Do you think she should be in prison today?
I believe anybody in Australia who takes a life should go to prison. My wife should be in prison.
In thousands of homes around Australia, this is the reality of living with an autistic child. How long could you cope?
The life should go to prison. My wife should be in prison.
In thousands of homes around Australia, this is the reality of living with an autistic child. How long could you cope?
How long could I cope? As long as it flippin' takes. I just cannot understand. How long could you cope? Really? Well, I can tell you, you sleep when you can sleep. Like we talked about earlier, right? I have more than just one child with profound autism. These little meltdowns you're seeing are a part of my regular life. Do I highlight that? Do I show that? Absolutely not. Because she's more than her meltdowns. She's an overcomer. She's not defined by these. I'm not going to make her a burden because she's not. That's how I choose to represent my family. And I have no empathy when there's other people that I know I have had words with that have tried to put me down and talk badly about me because they can't be me. Because if you have a child, one child, and you can't handle what you just watched, even though they leave your home, even though you have other people that come in and take over, then that's a freaking you problem. And you know who I'm directing towards. There's two people that I have had come across my path that only have one child that they have never cared for independently on their own without help and without several hours a day. And the meltdowns are never always 24/7. And sometimes you'll have an increase, some families, and that's sometimes they're on medication and they have to change medications. And there's other reasons that meltdowns are worse. But I have yet to find anyone in all my years of being around profound autism before I was mom to a little beautiful princess that has been diagnosed with profound autism. And they are never in a constant meltdown. They're not.
No. It's chaos. It's very chaotic. My day might start at 1 a.m. On a good day, it's about 5 a.m.
Is it every minute of every day?
Yeah. From the minute you wake up till the minute you fall asleep in your bed until the minute you're woken up again. It's totally full on.
And that's 100% true, which is why your sleep is all over the place, right? You're in a constant fight or flight. And that's why we need support for one another. Because there's a lot of caregivers that come on to these platforms, such as myself, at all different hours when we can. And we should be uplifting them, not canceling them, not slandering them. We should be helping them. Not making autism cool, not mocking people saying, I want my baby to be autistic. I mean, I was flabbergasted when my own family, somebody that knows the challenges that profound autism causes for a child and a family, making such a video like that. How blessed would I be to have a genius? And taking away what we have fought so hard for years. All different people with different disabilities have fought tooth and nail to try to get legal protections, to try to get more funding, more grants, more help. Can you believe that? I have never had SSI for my children. I haven't been given a grant. We've had to pay for every private therapy. We sold our house to move to get more therapy. And there is another autistic parent that went around trying to make sure that I didn't have opportunities to have networking and making profits in being a podcaster, that actually didn't want me to have opportunities and tried to slander me to different can you believe anybody would do such a thing? I would never do that to anyone. I will never cancel anyone. I would never want to take anyone's respite or finances that are helping their child and their family, because the resources are not easily available. And if you've been so blessed to have things paid for, and you get to buy your fancy houses and nice new clothes to try on and little videos to make and lie to everybody how you're here for your advocacy and you really want to help those with autism, moms like me, reach out to you. I'm here for you. I'm going to help you. I'm never going to monetize. I might write a book and lie in it, but I'm never going to monetize. And then, boop, here comes all the money. Here comes all the friendships while she's setting everybody up so she can come out and cry and be on top. I would never be that kind of person to another person ever. I can't imagine it. And my God, I can't wait to watch the karma that's coming from that. But anyway, I'll get off of that little personal rant. But can you imagine? I can't imagine, because it is so hard to get resources and to get help and to have treatments. That's what we need to be coming together to help find things that can help our children, help our individuals with this condition, help them. We need to help them. Not mock them, not make it a joke. They need help. And if Tylenol has been found in any way that it could even remotely, which there's 2 very major studies that did show it, cause this in any way, shape, or form, even a little minute chance that it could give an increased risk, well, damn it, I don't think any parent that could come stay with me for even a day would ever risk it unless they absolutely had no choice, because the level of pain they were in was harming their developing unborn baby. Because it's not political, it's real life. I have to worry after praying for 6.5 years for my daughter to finally have socialization, for her to finally have a place to go for more than an hour of just a therapy. And I finally got that. She's finally in a nice little classroom. And I have to worry all day long. Is she okay? Do they understand what she needs? God, are they going to let her go? You got to hold her hand. She's a bolter. She elopes. She's taken off on every therapist she's ever had. She's gone down highway, a major road in Tennessee, on a therapist. So I'm fighting tooth and nail to get her a service dog, which means I'll be doing a hell of a lot of streaming, because the deposit was $4,200 and the total cost for the service dog is going to be about $40,000. And I've been so graceful for 1.5 years by being treated pretty shitty by somebody that I know a lot of people have come in contact with. And I'm just saying, I'm a little jaded, so you might want to just back off a little, lady. You might want to back off. Because hell hath no fury as a mama who's been scorned, okay? And my give a damn has broke on that. My give a damn is broke. Because it costs a lot of money. And if you're interfering with my ability to provide every resource I can ever provide for my children legally, because I would never break the law, I will do everything I can to help Karma along.
Aidan Fasanella has severe autism. He's 7, but he has the mental age of a tiny child. Aidan is unable to talk. He's trapped in an often frightening world of his own. His life dominated by bizarre habits and endless repetition.
Because to fight for Australia,
It's lonely, it's hard, it's all those things. Time for trampoline?
Desiree Fasanella is a single mum living just above the poverty line. Raising Aidan has been an exhausting, relentless battle for her.
Have you ever been in a place where you've thought, I can't do this anymore?
Oh, every day. Every day, yes. Oh, yeah. I just can't do this at this level anymore, you know. But then, you know, you sort of get through the day and another day starts, and just look for the small positives wherever they might come, and dwell on that.
There's enormous stress. The divorce rate is very high. The depression rate is very, very high. The effect that it has on siblings is devastating. So in personal terms, it's horrendous. At the moment, it's really just building up his vocabulary.
Professor Tony Atwood is a world authority on autism, and all too often, the Brisbane psychologist sees families devastated by this chronic disability. He says there's simply not enough government support.
It is a burden to have a child with autism, but it is unfortunately made far worse by the system. The parents shouldn't have to fight the system. The system should be there to support them. They have enough to do with their child with autism.
Autism and related conditions affect almost 1 in 100 children in Australia. Now, I'm sure you'd agree that's...
Now that has changed a lot. I think it's 1 in 20 in Australia. Hang on, I'll tell you the current data. Hold on one second. It is the 2022 study said that 2.3% of the total population was diagnosed with autism, and it's not giving me a clear. Roughly 185,500 children have ASD in Australia, and 164 above the age of 18. So there's a total of 164,000 people in Australia. Okay, I'm sorry. 164,000 total autistic individuals, with 70% being children. So this is worded very oddly. It says the total number of children with autism. Australia's child population, 0 to 14, is approximately 5.3 million. That's from the 2025 projections in the Bureau of Statistics of Australia. Using a conservative prevalence rate of 3.5% for this group, aligned with SDAC trends for school-age children, this equates to roughly 185,500 children with autism. This is an estimate, as exact figures vary by study and diagnostics accesses. But a 2018 data had reported 164 total autistic people, with 70% being children. So therefore, there was already a 25,000% difference. So basically, it's really 1 in 70 in 2018, and now it's 1 in 42 in 2025. And that the rates are 3.5 times higher in females than it is in males, and that severe profound autism has seen a 4,000% increase, as 1 in, oh wow, so 1 in 43 have autism in general, and 1 out of those 40, so 23 out of 43 have profound. That's crazy. Sorry, that's a New York thing. I realized I say a lot. We all was growing up like that's just how we talked in New York. Everything was crazy. Oh, that's so crazy, you know. And I know some people, to them it's like that's really hurtful and rude. But sorry, guys, it's not meant, you know, not meant to be.
Alarming statistic. But judging by how much importance our politicians place on treating this condition, you wouldn't think so. Waiting lists for services are endless, and when treatment does become available, it's often too little, too late.
I have to accept responsibility. They were my hands, they were nobody else's. But that wasn't me that day. And there were a lot of things that pushed me to the point where I cracked.
Jason Dawes could be a happy, loving boy. But joy could quickly turn to frustration and anger. This 10-year-old child needed round-the-clock care.
Jason couldn't talk. Jason couldn't get dressed on his own. He couldn't get his own food. He wore...
And when you see them, right, does that look like a child's just misbehaving? Or does it look like he is in pain somehow? Whether it's frustration, whether it's sensory, we don't know because he can't tell us, right? But doesn't that look like he is suffering in some way? So why wouldn't we want to try to find treatments? I wish people could help me understand their logic on that. And one day I hope to have real conversations with people that believe that. Because every time I try, they don't want to talk. You know, there's no real conversing, unfortunately. Kind of like the whole thing with the resources. It's like some people, I don't think quite understand what's happening. We already had such a strain on our resources already, but it seems like it's really bad right now. And I'll just say real quick before we listen to this mom, the one that unfortunately, took her child's life, is when I was going through everything, what I realized was that in the special schools, like there's a Center for Spectrum, there's Astor, trying to think, there's so many, Center for Discovery, so many amazing schools for children and young adults with autism. And that's what they're designed for. They know how to handle all this, and they're able to work and help with psychiatrists and all the things, right? Because sometimes medication is definitely needed. That child's suffering, we would want to help them, right? I'm not against medicine. But what I found was, here my daughter is, she can't talk. It's like, what's happening? She's supposed to be getting services. They're supposed to start right away. It's so important, blah, blah, blah. You learn all these things. And then I couldn't get anything. And I'm like, what is going on? And I found out from volunteering and getting involved, because I did it. I got myself right in there. I was going to be her ABA therapist. I was going to be her speech therapist. I was going to learn everything and anything I could to help her in any way possible. So I got right in there and got really involved in the one autism school. And I found out that if they take children like my daughter, even though that's what these schools were made for, even though that's what most of these programs were for severe and profound on the classic autism days before we removed Asperger's. That's what they were made for. You didn't send most people with Asperger's, never went to these schools. They had totally different needs most of the time, right? And found out, well, if they take her, that means they cannot take 3 other children that are higher functioning. So on a numbers basis, one child like her would require one-on-one care. She would need an aid. She would need a different amount, a different level of care. And that takes away from 3 other children that do not. And she couldn't be in the same classrooms with children that are higher functioning because it could affect the other children because they have sensory issues. All these different things. And I was like, so the very institutions and sort of things that we designed to give her every chance to have a better quality of life, to be less of a burden on society financially, right? Now isn't even able to be utilized for that because they can do more for children that don't need that much intervention. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. Something's broken, right? And it has to be fixed.
care.
Jason couldn't talk. Jason couldn't get dressed on his own. He couldn't get his own food. He wore a nappy to poo. He couldn't brush his own teeth. He couldn't say goodnight. It wasn't easy.
Okay, family photo.
By August last year, Daniela had reached breaking point. Her marriage of 18 years was falling apart. Her father had just died of cancer. She was...
I got to be honest with you. That struck me really odd, the way she said that. And I know this is highly edited, so I'm just trying to give grace, but it was very odd how she decided to pick out that he couldn't say goodnight and he couldn't brush his teeth. Those are the last things that I thought of before Haley started showing signs of beginning communicative speech. No, you know, like, how about she doesn't understand from moment to moment what we're doing? Are we going for a car ride to get something to eat? Are we going to the park? She has no clue, right? Like, how about go to the bathroom? How about get dressed? How about being able to eat independently or drink out of a cup independent? Like, I just thought it was odd. Or how about I love you, Mama? When she said I love you, it was the most amazing thing I ever heard. I cherish it because very rarely does she, you know, does she say it? Does she script it? So I thought that was weird, but this is highly edited. So maybe she said a bunch of things first and then that was the ending of it. And that's why she smirked. I don't know, but I thought it was interesting.
He couldn't say goodnight. It wasn't easy.
Okay, family photo.
By August last year, Daniela had reached breaking point. Her marriage of 18 years was falling apart. Her father had just died of cancer. She was deeply depressed. All this on top of Jason's autism. On the morning of August 4, she snapped.
He was playing. I, being in a depressed state, wasn't really up for playing. And I remember he ran off, and I know I followed him into the rumpus room, and then it was just something that was all happening before my eyes. I had no control over what was happening that day. I was watching it and feeling very helpless. It's really hard.
Did you realise what you were doing?
I think I did, but I just had no control over what was happening. It was like being on autopilot. I really, it wasn't a conscious thing that was happening.
There's no question you had terrible problems. You had no support, you had major depression. But does that justify killing your son?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
A detective came over and told me that there was a little...
I feel some of these stories I can absolutely empathize with because I've been there. My husband works all the time, right? So it's just me most of the time. And I've been blessed a few times to have a nanny come in to help. But not much. I mean, let's be realistic, not much. And there's, you know, it's just, I can't say I don't empathize because I do. I definitely do. But a lot of them I don't. A lot of them I don't empathize with. But with her, I feel like she's being more genuine, you know, than some of the ones that we'll see later on or in part 2. Thank you, Lil Red.
little boy inside the house. And at that stage, I knew my wife had taken my son's life.
Nearly a year on, Jason's father, Craig Dawes, is still struggling with the shock of what he encountered at the family home on that August afternoon.
The fact is, my wife held my son down, placed a hand over his nose and mouth, and held him there until he did not struggle anymore. And there is absolutely no way my son did not struggle.
Daniela Dawes pleaded guilty to manslaughter, but 2 weeks ago she walked free with a 5-year good behaviour bond. In court, Craig Dawes pleaded that his wife not be jailed, but in the aftermath of her trial, he has changed his mind. He says she should be doing time.
Well, I was still in love with my wife the day before this happened, and there is love there for my wife, but the deed she has done and the pain she has caused has blocked out a lot of that love for my wife. I used to bring Jason down here and play in the afternoons. I miss my son a lot. I cry each night. I wish he was with me.
So I think she should have done more time than that, because she was the only caregiver for so long. And, you know, she knew that she could have called emergency services. I mean, I can't say that. I don't know. There's a lot more to the story with this. But what I did realize for me when I was watching everything is that, you know, they don't talk about when you're hearing these sides of the story, right? And they're trying to make it sound like it was just merciful and the parents shouldn't get in trouble. And they don't tell you the rewards of being their mom or their dad. There's such a reward in having a child. Like, it's just, when she looks at you and laughs, when she is having a good time, right? The reward is just unbelievable. When you get a hug, I mean, it's like hitting the lotto. It's like Christmas. That's something that you don't get with your regular children, not regular, but, you know, children that are not profound or severe needs-based when it comes to neurodivergent. You don't get that. You never, ever, ever cherish the fact that they could go up and go down a slide at a park. You're not in awe if you finally, you know, had a hug for the first time, or you got a hug once this month, or that stuff doesn't faze you one bit. It's like, oh, love you, have a good day at school, bye, you know? But for us, all these things that we totally take for granted, we don't even think about, they're amazing. They're amazing. And we cherish it and we rejoice in it, really. So there's so many blessings that come as well. And I don't think we really ever hear about them. That's why I try not to show you guys too much of the hard times that we have, the challenges, right? I try not to come on and get emotional and cry, and because I'm sure if I tried, I could cry a lot. I choose not to. I don't want to be like, well, I don't want to live in that. Why would I want to live that way? Not saying there's not sometimes that I have to, right? We have to have a good cry. We have to talk. But I don't want to represent negativity and a burden. That's not it. There's so much more to people than their disability. There's so much more to them. I want people to see people. We need to humanize each other, right? And help each other. On the most basic, simple level, we have more in common than a lot of us realize, I think, sometimes. But, you know, the other side of that is I am often not empathetic to the average person when they, you know, experience certain things, because my life is a shit show to most people, right? They don't know how anybody can juggle it. Like, they don't get it. You know, they're amazed when they actually know me and my personal life off of, you know, YouTube. It's like, how in the world do you love it so much and you do it? Like, you just don't understand, like, why anybody wants to be that way, you know? why everybody's turning everything into a problem. And I just don't want to be part of the problem. I'm not going to hide how hard it can be, in certain times, because we need to know that we're not alone, right? I'm not going to pretend that there's some magic trick and you don't suffer and you don't struggle, because you do. You do. But I'm not going to be a victim highlighting and crying and showing every bit and piece of the obstacles that my kids are facing. Like, I just think that's not, it's just gross. It's just gross to me. If I ever started to do that regularly, I would hope that my village would step in and bring me back to who I really am, because that's not who I am. And I don't have a lot of empathy sometimes, and it's taken like I'm being a bitch or, I'm snobby. No, it's not. It's just I can't relate. I'm sorry, I can't relate. You have no idea what I dealt with in the last 2 days, and you're complaining about something that was probably my Saturday afternoon. Big deal. I just can't. And I'm sorry if it comes across as being snarky and rude. We don't have anything in common in that, And doesn't mean that I don't have empathy, though, because I do. Just like I did with my daughter with the autism, the same goes for higher functioning autism. I wouldn't have wanted my son in a class with a child like her, because she would have had negative effects on his ability to learn because of the type of autism that he has, because of his specific ways that he learns. He's extremely intelligent with a lot of things, and he has some things that he's not, just like we all are. But if he was in a classroom with children that were more the way that my other daughter is, it would be a detriment to their learning, and vice versa, right? So I understand. It's not that I don't understand. I do. Thank you, Little Red. It's not easy. It's been a challenge, right? I've had to work at it and work at it and work at it and work at it and work at it. And we're not without flaws, but, that's why I think I was like, I'm not going to give up this channel and have to just deal with all these new channels. I'm not going to no, this is my respite. If there's only 100 people that listen over on X, oh well. This is what I feel like is comfortable to me, because I know that it helped me so much when I needed it, finding some of those channels. And I was always in the bushes, so to speak. I always listened to everything more of a podcast style. That's why I love listening to you, and I put you on when I'm running around or doing stuff at home in my ear pods, I like the podcast style because I really rarely can sit down, and go back and forth in text or look at stuff long. I can look at the screen for a second, which is why my texts and stuff sometimes get so behind, because I mean to go text somebody and then I see, my grandpa or, my older son or the doctor, or I have like important ones that came through that I have to answer right then and there. And by the time I have a second, I got to run off and do something else. And now all these texts, are incomplete. But I appreciate you very much for being so understanding. It means a lot. And please put your link in chat, and then I'll do it actually. I'll go get it so that everybody on X and TikTok can see and follow you, Little Red.
Just how bitter and divided the Dawes family has become was all too apparent as we filmed this story. Daniela left Sydney with their daughter and took out an apprehended violence order against Craig.
The bottom line is your family is ripping itself apart.
I would just like to have a bit of peace, place my son's ashes, which are at my house, in a place of rest somewhere, and get on with the rest of my life. To go through a loss like this and have it turned around that I now have an AVO on me, what more does my wife want to extract from me?
Ready? Which one is horse? Oh, you remembered too. Well done.
What both Craig and Daniela Dawes do still agree on is that Jason never got the professional care he needed to learn even the most basic of skills. His condition demanded at least 20 hours of therapy a week, but he was lucky to get 3. And to get even that took constant begging from government agencies.
Fighting the battle on my own was very difficult, especially when I was on the phone all day, ringing one department to the next, and nobody would help me, and they pass you along.
So it was tough.
Yeah, it was very tough. Eventually, it wore me away.
When you heard what had happened to Jason, what was your reaction?
I know she wouldn't have come to that decision without enormous heartbreak over a long period of time. And so my heart went out to her.
Did it surprise you?
No, I think that the pain and despair that she was going through, and also for Jason too, meant how on earth could she continue with that pain and death? Both for Jason and herself was the only way to end the pain.
I just think it's honestly, I can't understand any of it. I think it's when people think they can get away with it because there's no way that you're doing it out of mercy. You know what's merciful? Leave. Plenty of moms and dads have taken off because it's too hard. And in America, you're allowed to leave. If you're an adult, you can leave. You can leave the child with their other parent. You're not required legally to have to stay. You're allowed to go. You're allowed to go. So, from what I know about Australia, they're allowed to leave. They're not going to get arrested for walking away and saying they can't do it. In my opinion.
Professor Tony Atwood examined Jason when he was 3. His advice to Daniela and Craig was that Jason needed immediate therapy. And as they struggled to get that therapy from dozens of different health services, he saw their growing despair.
Is it as simple as saying, if he'd had early intervention, may have been a different story?
I think it would have been a different story. He had a personality, and I think behind the behavior was an intellect that I thought we could work on.
There was potential.
Oh, yes, definitely.
While there is no cure for autism, it can be managed.
He gets trapped in those autistic mannerisms.
But it needs a whole range of different treatments: speech therapy, occupational therapy, and specialised education.
Oh, and that's a number 2.
And people wondered why we were willing to sell our home and move across the country so we could get as much private, intense care as possible while she had that window that all kids have, right? And we had a study through Yale. We had a study through Johns Hopkins with her. All children have different parts. All of us go through different parts of our brain developing, right? Where we're like sponges and things. And I had a lot of people that were like, I can't understand. What do you mean you can't understand? If I can improve her quality of life, and we know that it's proven that certain therapies, if done properly, can give her the ability to have any sort of quality of life that is not depicted with one-on-one care and some of the things that people with profound autism have to endure. Wouldn't you do that as a parent? Money comes and money goes, just like was in the intro. We've had plenty of money in the bank and you can't take it with you, but it comes and it goes. If you can't have your children well and you can't have yourself well, you should never put the money into clothing and vacations and not into your child. To me, that's not love. It's their quality of life, especially when people say it affects their quality of life, right? When you have all these influencers that claim that, their quality of life is so horrible and it's so hard and it's so difficult. And damn right it is. It is hard. It is difficult to be a parent, especially with special needs. But if you can take that money and go on vacations and buy fancy things, then you're going to tell me you can't take that same money and get animal therapy and get art therapy and music therapy or water therapy that can come to your home, or different aides or nurses. No, you choose not to. You choose not to. I'm just very critical because I've lived it. So I don't believe you. I'm sorry. As an influencer, I think they're telling us a tall tale, in my opinion.
by early intervention, programs that teach all those sorts of skills that that person needs, the brain can, in a way, almost repair itself to a certain degree. The politicians need to recognize that autism is here. We think it may be increasing, and that if you invest in early intervention, you save in the long term by turning someone potentially from a sponge for taxpayers' money to an actual taxpayer.
Wait. What does Aiden need?
For Desiree Fasanella, the pressures of caring for an autistic child finally destroyed her marriage. And for much of Aiden's life, she's had to struggle on alone.
He's big, he's loud, he's cute, he's funny, he's a handful, he's just a dynamo. And he's really difficult to manage. But I love him.
When Mr. Crickety came, he played a silly game, and all the kids in the street, they like to do the
Does
same.
the future frighten you?
Yes, very much. Because he doesn't have a great future. And I'll be his carer till the day I die.
Daniela Dawes will carry the burden of what she did till the day she dies. While the daily battles have ended, there can be no peace.
Every time I see a photo of Jason, I know it's my fault he's not here. And it's really hard.
Do you ever feel you'd still like to be with him?
Yes, every day. Every single day. I don't care how hard it is. It was very special.
Hello, I'm Liz Hayes.
All right, guys, so I'm going to wrap this segment up. I have to go get snack and stuff ready and go back to momming it up a little bit. And I will, I think, potentially be able to come back because I have a part 2. I did an interview that I wanted to share with somebody that was in prison, and it was very interesting to learn all about that and to hear what it was like. And I'm going to, I think, start playing some of that interview I had with them. And we're going to do part 2 of this, but I have to be, I have to be in the right mindset, right? Because it is so triggering for me. So I don't know if I'll do part 2 to this today. Depends on how I feel. But we will hopefully get through the prison one. And I will make sure that we're streaming on Momming It Up on YouTube also. But I thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. If you want to join, we have memberships now on the channel. And leave your comments in the, down below if you're replaying. And I'm hoping to get better with interacting with chat. Sorry that I'm not that great with it sometimes, but I'm trying. And I appreciate all of you. If you have anything you want me to talk about, look into, or if you want to be a guest or, things of that nature, 411ccann@gmail.com. Let me try to see if I can get the outro to play. See if it'll work. And then don't forget to let me know what your vote is for what song should be added to the intro that we're making for the channel. What one should be added to the intro? Because hopefully the intro will be ready and it'll start posting tomorrow. And then we'll have an intro for like 10-15 minutes at the start of each show so that everybody that likes to talk to each other on the lives can say hi to one another. Thanks again, guys. Much love to each and every one of you.
Yo, I'm momming it up. Got my kids on my hip while you're typing up lies with that fictional script. Behind the scenes scheming, but I see through the act. I'm an OG mama, and that's straight up fact. They tried to cancel me, spreading all them lies. My kids are my blessing, not a burden to bear. While you're out here fronting with that fake Hollywood flair. High IQ, beauty with a heart full of grace, empathy running through me, can't nobody replace you. Mad cause I'm genuine, that's driving you mad, crying crocodile tears, but we all know it's an act. Karma's got a GPS and it's heading your way, truth gonna shine bright like the sun every day. Next book you publish, better check your facts twice, cause this mama don't play with your narcissistic frail old lady. Pity party, poor me act, and that's a fact. JS, just saying, just saying. JK, just kidding, just kidding. Real, recognize real, and you looking unfamiliar. I'm protected by above, my faith getting stronger. Keep my name out your mouth, out your fictional thriller. Cause this momming it up queen gonna last much longer. Yo, I'm momming it up, got my kids on my hip, while you're typing up lies with that fictional script. Behind the scenes scheming, but I see through the act. I'm an OG mama, and that's straight up fact. They tried to cancel me, spreading all them lies. My kids are my blessing, not a burden to bear, while you're out here fronting with that fake Hollywood flair. High IQ, beauty with a heart full of grace, empathy running through me, can't nobody replace. You mad cause I'm genuine, that's driving you mad, crying crocodile tears, but we all know it's an act. Karma's got a GPS and it's heading your way, truth gonna shine bright like the sun every day. Next book you publish, better check your facts twice, cause this mama don't play with your narcissistic frail old lady. Pity party, poor me act, and that's a fact. JS, just saying. JK, just kidding, just kidding. Real, recognize real, and you looking unfamiliar. I'm protected by above, my faith getting stronger. Keep my name out your mouth, out your fictional thriller. Cause this momming it up queen gonna last much longer. Momming it up queen gonna last much longer.
Yo, it's the momming it up crew, queen of the chaos, I'm coming for you. Mama Manity got my baby in my grip, special needs squad, yeah we never slip. Ain't no rat, I don't snitch, I don't fold. High IQ, moving sharp, break the mold. Life throws punches, but I'm dodging the fakes. Eyes wide open, I ain't falling for snakes. Red Bull in my hand, keep my hustle on lock. Navigating the madness, I'm steady as a rock. No contract, no games, I'm keeping it true. Bringing fire to the crew. Momming it up, yeah, I'm running this game. No fool, no rat, I'm ahead of the lane. Red Bull sipping, I'm sharp like a blade. Momming it up, watch this empire get made. Special needs fam, we're a powerful pack. Every challenge we face, yo, we pushing it back. Ain't nobody fooling me, I see through the lies. Truth's my armor, got that spark in my eyes. Hustle's my anthem, I'm built for the grind. Dodging the drama with a razor sharp mind. Red Bull buzz, keep my energy lit. I'm the realest to spit. Momming it up, yeah, I'm running this game. No fool, no rat, I'm ahead of the lane. Red Bull sipping, I'm sharp like a blade. Momming it up, watch this empire get made. Tune in, turn up, let's keep it 100 from the Yo, it's the momming it up crew, queen of the chaos, I'm coming for you. Mama man, he got my baby in my grip. Special needs squad, yeah, we never slip. Ain't no rat, I don't snitch, I don't fold. High IQ, moving sharp, break the mold. Life throws punches, but I'm dodging the fakes. Eyes wide open, I ain't falling for snakes. Red Bull in my hand, keep my hustle on lock. Navigating the madness, I'm steady as a rock. No contract, no games, I'm keeping it true. Bringing fire to the crew. Momming it up, yeah, I'm running this game. No fool, no rat, I'm ahead of the lane. Red Bull sipping, I'm sharp like a blade. Momming it up, watch this empire get made. Special needs fam, we're a powerful pack. Every challenge we face, yo, we pushing it back. Ain't nobody fooling me, I see through the lies. Truth's my armor, got that spark in my eyes. Hustle's my anthem, I'm built for the grind. Dodging the drama with a razor sharp mind. Red Bull buzz, keep my energy lit.
Momming it up.
I'm the realest to spit. Momming it up, yeah, I'm running this game. No fool, no rat, I'm ahead of the lane. Red Bull sipping, I'm sharp like a blade. Momming it up, watch this empire get made. Tune in, turn up, let's keep it 100. From the crib to the chaos, I'm never outdone. Momming it up, where the real ones vibe. No rat, no fool, yo, I'm built to survive. Welcome to the podcast, y'all. Let's get it poppin'.
Beat drop.
steps, a beat, confident vibe. Yo, it's the mom in it.
And you looking unfamiliar. I'm protected by above, my faith getting stronger. Keep my name out your mouth, out your fictional thriller. Cause this mom in it up queen gonna last much longer. Mic drop, but gently, cause I got kids to pick up from school.
Make this a rap song parade comedy. Momming it up. Yo, I'm momming it up. Got my kids on my hip while you're typing up lies with that fictional script. Behind the scenes scheming, but I see through the act. I'm an OG mama, and that's straight up fact. They tried to cancel me, spreading all them lies. My kids are my blessing, not a burden to bear. While you're out here fronting with that fake Hollywood flair. High IQ, beauty with a heart full of grace. Empathy running through me, can't nobody replace. You mad cause I'm genuine, that's driving you mad. Crying crocodile tears, but we all know it's an act. Karma's got a GPS and it's heading your way. Truth gonna shine bright like the sun every day. Next book you publish, better check your facts twice. Cause this mama don't play with your narcissistic frail old lady. Pity party, poor me act, and that's a fact. JS, just saying, just saying. JK, just kidding, just kidding. Real, recognize real, and you looking unfamiliar. I'm protected by above, my faith getting stronger. Keep my name out your mouth, out your fictional thriller. Cause this momming it up queen gonna last much longer. Yo, I'm momming it up, got my kids on my hip while you're typing up lies with that fictional script. Behind the scenes scheming, but I see through the act. I'm an OG mama, and that's straight up fact. They tried to cancel me, spreading all them lies. My kids are my blessing, not a burden to bear. While you're out here fronting with that fake Hollywood flair. High IQ, beauty with a heart full of grace. Empathy running through me, can't nobody replace. You mad cause I'm genuine, that's driving you mad. Crying crocodile tears, but we all know it's an act. Karma's got a GPS and it's heading your way. Truth gonna shine bright like the sun every day. Next book you publish, better check your facts twice. Cause this mama don't play with your narcissistic frail old lady. Pity party, poor me act, and that's a fact. JS, just saying. JK, just kidding, just kidding. Real, recognize real, and you looking unfamiliar. I'm protected by above, my faith getting stronger. Keep my name out your mouth, out your fictional thriller. Cause this momming it up queen gonna last much longer. Momming it up queen gonna last much longer.
If you ever cried yourself to sleep, if you've ever looked in the mirror and hated who you become, if you ever thought nobody would love me if they knew my truth, this is for you. I was drowning in the silence, empty rooms and heavy chains.